Indo-Pacific Economic Framework (IPEF) and position of India. In the recent development, India has agreed to 3 pillars related to supply chain, that is, tax, anti-corruption, and clean energy. But the 4th pillar on data and privacy, India has its reservations. What is IPEF? The IPEF was initially discussed by US President Joe Biden at the East Asia Summit in October 2021. With IPEF, Washington is attempting to unite Asian nations to reduce China's influence in the region. The US goal was to identify the shared goals of its partners countries with respect to trade facilitation, standards for digital economy and technology, supply chain resiliency, decarbonization and clean energy, infrastructure, worker standards, etc. IPEF features 4 main areas or pillars. 1. Supply chain resiliency. 2. Connected economy. 3. Clean energy transformation, clean energy, decarbonization and infrastructure. 4th, fair economy, anti-corruption, anti-money laundering and tax. On May 23, 2022, President Joe Biden and 12 regional colleagues announced the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity at a hybrid ceremony in Tokyo. Currently, there are 14 members: Australia, Brunei, Fiji, India, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, New Zealand, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, United States, and Vietnam. IPEF is not a free trade agreement but allows members to negotiate the parts they want to. Position of India on IPEF. Some of the IPEF's suggested areas don't seem to be in India's best interest. For example, digital governance has many difficulties, particularly those involving privacy and data, that directly contradict India's stated position. The Indian government pulled the Personal Data Protection Bill from Parliament in August of this year. To develop rules on data privacy and localization, cybersecurity, and other topics in order to create a complete legal framework that will govern the online world. Even in the case of data from US-based corporation, India insists that it be stored and processed on servers situated in India rather than the US. According to the US National Trade Estimate report on foreign trade barriers, while India's policy is thought to function as a significant obstacle to digital trade and act as a market access restrictions, especially for small enterprises, India has decided against joining the linked economy but would be a part of 3 of the 4 pillars, namely supply chain resiliency, clean energy and fair economy. To handle discussion on labor, environmental norms and digital trade, India is not sufficiently prepared. India is also exploring trade agreements with the United Kingdom, Canada and the European Union. India wants to know what advantages membership will bring and whether any condition on things like the environment might be unfair to developing nations that must offer cheap and accessible energy to support their expanding economies. Officials will participate in conversations in the meantime with an open mind and in the best interest of Indian citizens and businesses. Drawbacks of IPEF. Because it differs from customary trade agreements, the United States removes a big initiative for regional partners to comply with high US standards by taking away the guarantee of access to US markets. Another factor limiting the United States' ability to protect its interest in the absence of enforcement tools. Failure of the IPEF would be a serious setback to the administration's goals because it serves as the administration economic policy's focal point in a crucial area. But the administration has demonstrated skill in promoting greater cooperation through various substitute frameworks such as the US-EU Trade and Technology Council. The Indo-Pacific Economic Forum could potentially be a similar ambitious framework among a wider range of partners if the United States is successfully in replicating this level of cooperation and momentum there, which is doubtful given the reasons diversity and lack of obvious initiatives.